712 judgments to his name, 4.5 years of Supreme Court tenure. I have with me Dr. Justice and in fact one of the finest judges of the Supreme Court who's just recently retired, Mr. m.r.shah. So welcome to CNN News 18. It's a very common saying that a doctor, a judge and in fact a professor never retires. What's the plan after this?
Already told in my farewell lecture, I am not a person to retire. I will start a new innings, and every professional, they will, as rightly said, they never retire, correct? They change, they shift the innings, correct? In first phase to second phase, second to third phase, but continue to work. More particularly a person who is very workaholic, correct? And all throughout, in his mind, work, work and work.
So 4.5 years of tenures, how has it been? Any regrets? Any what will you miss the most?
I'll miss doing work in the courtroom. I'll miss delivering the judgments. Maybe in a different capacity I will do. It's a different thing. But see, as a Supreme Court judge, when you deliver a judgment, it is a law of the land. So I enjoyed laying down the law. I decided every even toughest matter also, and I'll try my best to do justice. As usual, I am saying I am justice to the common man who is waiting for his turn, that when my matter will be taken up. So I'll miss all that thing, some good public interest work, and like COVID we have done, and other things also we have done. So I'll miss that. I'll miss my brother and sister judges. I'll miss the advocates in the Supreme Court. And I'll miss all of you, sir.
Sir, you often referred to as the tiger of the bench, but the tiger is now going off. But how will you continue serving the people around?
See, from judgeship to another, correct? I may serve as an arbitrator also, I may serve mediator also, and conciliator also, because I love working, and I'll continue to work in different capacity, whatever the God has planned in future for me. But I am not a person who will sit idle, and because I have an experience of 19-20 years as a judge. Prior that to approximately 22 years as an advocate in different capacity. So I'll continue to work. I'll serve the society and the nation.
Sir, fourth senior most judge, when you retired, the also part of the collegium, there is a debate that has rung up with regards to the NJAC and the collegium system. We also saw the law minister and in fact the vice president too talking about it. But which is the better system according to you, and whether there is some kind of a reform that the collegium system actually needs?
See, at present, the justice system which is working, collegium system which is working, is as such working very well. But every system, correct, there is a scope of improvement for better performing and carrying on the work. So here also there may be requirement of some further modification or some further addition which can be done. But at present, the system as it is, it's working very well. There is no case of any criticism. There may be some delay in one or two appointments. That does not mean, correct, that there is any difference between two stakeholders, because both are stakeholders. Justice, Judiciary, the collegium as well as the government also. So it's working very well at present. But there may be requirement of some further improvement, correct, which can be done with mutual dialogue, correct, and MOP being modified.
We have seen in recent times that the social media has become a place where people criticize not only judges but their judgments as well. How do you tackle this? And in fact, with you, I personally remember that you would, in a public event, praise the Prime Minister, and there was a lot of criticism by the people. How do you tackle all this, and how do you see all of this criticism that happens?
Sir, it is true that at present social media is very powerful, correct? Because everybody is on social media, one way or the other. But ultimately, it doesn't affect the decision making. Right? We are away from social media. Now, so far the criticism is concerned, one may criticize the judgment, but one should not criticize the judges. Judges are nothing personal. Whatever the case is before the judge, he delivers the judgment as per his conscience according to law within four corners of law. So, no use criticizing the judge. Correct. Virtually, it will be demoralizing the entire system. It affects the justice delivery system.
You were a part of the 5 judges constitution bench that delivered, in fact, the judgment in the m.r.shah political fiasco. There were a lot of aspects that this judgment dealt with regards to how the deletion of the para 3 in the 10th schedule actually affects what is the future of this anti-defection law. Do you think that this judgment would act as a landmark one when we in the near future go on into in a similar debate, because we are into a political democracy and there might be that people switch from one side to another?
You rightly said, it is a very important political matter it was, and it will have a far-reaching effect in future also, because our decision was unanimous decision, and we lay down the law, and considering the speaker's power and democracy and how it functions, certainly it will help in future also, and political morality, everything that is covered in the judgment, that will be taken care of.
So another thing is that I remember I was covering a case when you were in the court. This was with regards to a Hooch tragedy and a similar case with regards to what had happened in Punjab as well. You were very stern on the bench with regards to the people who were affected. What would happen, because now you are not on the bench, whether it would reach a logical conclusion or not reach a logical conclusion? What do you think?
In fact, so far as that matter is concerned, I distinctly recollect, ultimately the result was achieved, correct? There were so many that laws, and they also issued the circulars also that the concerned police station or the officer within whose jurisdiction this liquor is seized, correct? He will be held personally responsible, and ultimately it has affected a lot, and the things have been improved also. Our duty is to see that they act, they perform their duties, and ultimately it was a virtually public interest litigation. So it worked, sir.
Another thing is that you also retired recently. Justice Nazir also retired. He is now a governor. It is often said that, and it's a common saying by people, that judges do it for a quid pro quo. They act on a certain way. How do you see this? This criticism always comes in.
That criticism is thoroughly baseless and useless, correct? Such type of criticism one should ignore, correct? Only few people, correct, out of 140 crores, correct, some criticism is there. One should not be swayed away by that, correct? There is nothing like a kick for pro. Judge, whatever he is, he acts as per the conscience and within four corners of law, and he performs his duty. That is the question of and nobody knows the reality. That is why those who don't know the reality and hard fact, correct, they start criticizing.
20 years at the Gujarat High Court, then 4.5 years here. Now, will your family get a little more time from you?
Definitely, sir. Even when I was a High Court judge also, correct, we had a separation of power, me and my wife. So she said, you do social work, correct, whatever marriage mein jana hai, kahan jana hai, and I will do judicial work, and I worked it, sir. As a High Court judge also, I performed to the best of my ability and satisfaction and conscience, and as a Supreme Court judge also. And they will certainly get time to spend with me, and whatever that those 19-20 years, correct, will compensate, sir.
It will definitely compensate. You would be visiting Surat very recently.
I went to Surat is a nice place. Entire Gujarat is a nice place. One should visit Gujarat.
So, another question which comes up at this point of time, and it's a very common debate that is happening at this point of time with regards to, and in fact the Supreme Court also recently reserved its judgment. It is a 5 judges constitution bench with regards to same-sex marriages. It is a the central government is saying that it cannot be granted. Marriage is something that is very, very sacrosanct into Indian cultures. What is your personal view on this issue? Because according to various legal experts, what it is said is that a lot of law has to be changed if at all some kind of a legal recognition has to be granted.
So the matter is sub judice and judgment is reserved. I would not like to make any personal comment on it.
Just now recently the law minister Mr. Kiren Rijiju has been removed, and in the change of portfolios Arjuna Meghwal has been given a charge. You've met him at various occasions. How was the conduct between the judiciary and the law minister? How was his tenure for the
during his tenure also? I don't know whether there may be reshuffling. To say that he has been removed is a very, harsh word.
There is a reshuffle that is happening.
Reshuffling has taken place, and during his tenure also everything went well, correct? Because ultimately it is a collective, decision of the government, central government, ministry and all these things, correct? And it went well, nothing wrong. But there may be some reason.
While he was the law minister of the country, there was a budget, a horrendous budget that was given out for transformation of the judiciary, technological changes, and you were also a part of a paperless bench in the m.r.shah matter. How is it paradigm shift? Because you've spent 20 years at the Gujarat High Court, you've seen those times when pens were used properly to write judgment. They still are, correct. Now the times are changing.
Everybody has to change with the time. Correct. I was also earlier not used to digitalization and using the computer technology and all these things. Justice Chandrachud, Chief Justice Chandrachud, correct, forced me to learn, correct, and because of him I started learning in the COVID period, because we were sharing the bench, and I accepted the challenge also, and I also started using it, because so far as the paperless courts are concerned, it saves even the paper also. And I'm told that paper means you are ultimately destroying the tree. Tree means it affects the environment. Environment means we see every day what is the problem. These are all problem of this playing with the environment.
Thank you so much, sir. This was the tiger of the bench, Justice m.r.shah, who was speaking to us over various issues after he has retired from the Supreme Court. A stupendous 4.5 years of career, 712 judgments. In fact, succeeding the Chief Justice of India as well. He has penned down the most judgments in his career. So thank you so much for speaking to CNN News 18.
Thank you, sir.